I would like to start off today with a quote, or not a quote. Would you say it? What would you say it is? Gratitude. Acknowledging the good you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. Acknowledging the good you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. When I named this channel and picked out a domain, buildingwealthwithkatie.com, wealth and abundance for me have become interchangeable. I'm also going to be working on a craft while we're chit-chatting because I have more time to do this stuff because of this business. But I really want to talk about gratitude because I know that sometimes it can feel like people throw that around and just say, oh, be grateful for things. But what does that actually mean? And why is it so important for the flow of your life, the flow of things? So if you've ever heard of, like the money flow or the flow of joy, like what does all that mean and how do you start that process? And the first step is gratitude. Now, let me give you two scenarios and what I mean by that. Because we all have things that happen in our everyday life that's like, we can say, I'll just use an example that just happened. Okay. Oh my gosh, our air conditioner broke and it's 95 degrees out and and it becomes this like heavy ick thing. We can feel that for a moment, but then where do we go from there? And it's about pivoting a negative to a positive. So instead of dwelling in that, because honestly, when is it ever a good time for something to break down in your house? When is it ever a great time for something to need to be fixed? Never, right? I mean, in reality, it's never a great time. So your reaction of, oh my gosh, it's like the worst time ever to have something like that happen. Well, it's always the worst time ever because we don't want to. This is where I'm saying we can turn those negatives and say, okay, that really is a bummer. And here's how I would say it. Lord, I am so grateful to have this house, to have a roof over my head, for my kids' heads. We have somewhere to be. Again, if I'm speaking from my perspective, I would say thank you so much for the opportunity to have this house on this piece of property. And what does that mean? Okay, hold on. Okay. No, I don't want to add those. Okay, so instead of dwelling on the negative, it can be, thank you so much for the opportunity to have this house on this piece of land. And for us, like our dream place to just be and something we've always wanted. So thank you so much for the opportunity that we can even have an air conditioner and that I can then pay the person that comes for their service and their talent, and then they can turn around and be able to feed their family. Now, I know this might sound dramatic and like really drawn out, but it's a simple like switch that you can do in your head. It's not something that I necessarily will say out loud, although a lot of times I will because I'm a very talk to myself kind of person. I don't know if you're like that, but when I'm doing things, I talk to myself when I'm figuring things out. But it could just be as simple as flipping it in your head and saying, okay, on the surface, I don't love having to pay for a repair, but I can be so grateful that I even have a house that I can fix an air conditioner in. So it's about expressing gratitude because when you live each day feeling grateful, but not just saying, oh, I'm grateful for, but really, what are you grateful for in the moments? I a lot of times will tell my kids, it's about like when you have to pay a bill. Are you annoyed because you have to pay bills? I'm going to start working on this. Are you annoyed because you have to pay bills? Well, when you pay bills, you're expressing your gratitude. If you can say, thank you so much. I am so grateful to be able to pay the light bill because it provides light for my convenience in my house, but it also helps the people that work for the electric company and the technicians and all the people, helps them be able to provide for their family too. So I am so grateful to be the vessel to pay the light bill, to be able to keep the flow going for them. So do you see how I can take a moment of, oh my gosh, why is it so expensive? Why do we keep getting all these bills and it just seems like all I do is pay bills? Do you see how you can take that and say, Lord, I am so grateful to pay these bills? Because what does it mean when you pay a bill? Now, we can dive really deep into that even further and say we get annoyed because we feel like when we have money, we have to hold on with a death grip because we have to have our money. That can be a whole nother live, and I could go so many directions with it because that's blocking the money flow, because money is supposed to flow. Money is supposed to come in and go out and come in and go out. It's supposed to do that. But sometimes our brains just can't get to that yet because we all probably grew up with parents that said, hey, money doesn't grow on trees, so, turn the lights off when you leave the room. Money doesn't grow on trees. We're not buying that extra whatever you want at the grocery store. Put that back. We don't have money for it. So a lot of us have that in our heads that it's just like, oh my gosh, when you have money, hold on to it and be annoyed every time you have to spend it. But what if that's what's blocking more money from flowing to you? What if that's the actual thing that's blocking it? Because money isn't meant to be held onto with a death grip. We can start the process by learning how to express gratitude every single day for everything. So think of some of your goals and dreams. Think of some of the things and where you're at if you were to evaluate where you are today. All of us have things to say, well, I wish I had more money. I wish I had a bigger house. I wish I had whatever, fill in the blank. And we feel like we can't be happy until we have those things. But what if that is what's actually blocking us from getting the things? Is this making sense to anyone? It makes sense in my head, but I'm learning how to do these lives and speak in a way that people can get what I'm saying. So this is a learning process for me going live. And I also thought I'm going to start doing the things I just do. I don't need to just sit here and talk. I would love for this to just feel like we're hanging out and, whatever, just doing what we do. So I'm making I'll just tell you what I'm making really quick. So I'm making what we might call a button board, but one of my other channels, one of my other things I do online is ASMR. If you've ever heard of ASMR, if you haven't, basically I help put people to sleep at night. I help people relax, and it's through sounds. And I wanted to make a board that has some nice, I'll just show you these rocks, these flat rocks. And so I'm going to hot glue them. Hopefully hot glue will stick. I don't know. Thought it would work better then. And I'm just going to put them all over this board. This is the way my brain works. It's going to be all over the place. If you join my lives, I'm going to be talking about one thing, showing you something in the next 2 seconds. And yeah, we're just rolling with it. So I have these cute little beads. They're all these blue colors and clear too. And I'm going to put them on here. Okay. So what if we're not reaching our goals and having all the things because we aren't mentally putting ourselves in a position to receive it? Because gratitude is the first thing that kind of, I want to say it unlocks that. It unlocks, what could be the visual for that? It unlocks the door. It unlocks it to say, okay, come on in, I'm ready. There is something on my arm and it's bugging. Okay. Welcome in, by the way, you guys. If you're joining me, let me know where you're from, by the way. I'm in Michigan and it's like really hot. So I'm in the basement today. I really like to do my lives outside like I did last time, but it's way too hot. And I wanted to do my crafts while we chit chat. So I'm in my little room in the basement and it's really nice down here. So let me know where you're at and what the temperature's like, because I am not a hot weather person. Like once it hits 80 or over 80, like I'm all done. Like I don't want that. Okay. So I should probably see if this works. Let me see what I'm doing. This is so fun. But I have time to do this stuff. And I thought the whole reason I got into this digital marketing to begin with was because I wanted to be able to do more of these things. And so I spent a lot of time thinking I have to show up and talk about digital marketing and be perfect on camera and like, oh, where's my notes? And just be talking about that and all the things. And the more I thought about it, the more I was just like, that's not really how I want to do it, because yeah, I just don't. Let's see if this sticks. Is it gonna stick? I did one craft with the hot glue gun once. It totally didn't work. And I was like, I thought hot glue just stuck to everything. So I'm going to put a whole bunch of these on here and it's, yeah, cool. So what do you guys think about this whole idea of gratitude? Because I know that it can feel like, yeah, you know, like la la la, yeah, let's be grateful for what we have. But where I got kind of off track with it is I was like, but how do I apply that in my everyday life? Because yeah, it can sound great. You're just like going through the motions and every day you're like, yay, I'm grateful for the trees outside. And like, you can kind of just go through the motions, but what does it actually mean? And have you ever thought about the idea that not expressing gratitude in your everyday life is what's actually blocking you from receiving all of the things that you want? What if? I know that it's true, but I'm asking you, what if? Is that something that you've ever thought about? Because when you express gratitude for where you are and complete joy, now, again, what I mean by that is if you wake up every day and focus on what you don't have, you're going to get more of what you don't have. Because that's the energy that you're putting out, because everything's energy. And again, I'm going to just say this too, because I'm new. I know I haven't met a lot of you. If you've the first time you've been here, hi, I'm Katie. I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I'm here because I had been trying to figure out, how do I make money online from home so that I could stay home with my kids, but still bring in meaningful income. That's why I'm here. And I have an ADD brain. I'm all over the place. And for a while, I thought that that was a bad thing. But I'm learning how to embrace it now. And so if you live each day, if you wake up each morning and you're like, oh man, and it's like Groundhog Day, in not a positive way. It's like Groundhog Day. You're like, here we go again. And all the schedules and when the kids are in school. Okay, got to get everybody up, got to get ready, got to hurry up and, make lunches, or maybe you do that the night before. I don't know. You get dressed, get everybody out the door. And then maybe if you work outside the home, then you're like, got to plan your day. And, it just feels like by the end of the day, you're exhausted. Did you actually enjoy any part of your day? I know some days can be, they're different than others. So there's going to be days where you're like, yeah, I had an amazing day and I really enjoyed it. Other days you're just going to be like, you go to bed and you wake up and you do it all over again. Now, my kids do online school from home. And one of the most amazing things that has come out of that and out of me being able to work at home is the slow mornings. It's probably the most overlooked thing that I hear anyways, that people talk about, because we can say, yay, work 2 hours a day, make 100% profit, work from anywhere. I can throw all those things out, and other people can throw all those things out. And I've heard it a million times too. And yeah, that all sounds great, but what does that actually mean? And once I started being able to do that, I was like, the best part about this is the slow mornings. Like I can wake up and just, there's no like rigid time schedules, or there's no like, oh my gosh, I gotta punch in at whatever time. Because before all this, I was typing my fingers off. Like I've been a stay-at-home mom, and there's ways to make money online. But meaningful income is where I struggle, because I typed my fingers off doing transcription. I started in medical transcription. And I was expected to be 99% accurate. And, I would do that for 8 hours a day. I would type medical reports. But I was some number floating around out in somewhere. They didn't even care where I was. And when it came time for me to like take my time off that I earned, my PTO, and I put in my request, and they're like, yeah, sorry, we have too much work. So no, we're not going to approve that. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, it's the holidays, or it's time I want to take off to go do something with my family, whatever. And they're just like, yeah, no. And I'm like, you can't just say no. And I would, kind of try to fight for it. And they're like, we don't care. You're employee number 84652. If you don't like it, quit and we'll just replace you. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I've worked for you for years. They don't care. Now, I'm not saying every single company is like that. But that's where I was. And that's why I was like, there has got to be, well, I know there's a way, because I see people doing it. I'm like, how are people making money online from home? How are they doing it? Because I'm not a dum-dum, but I just don't know. I don't know what I don't know. And I've also been in the online space for like 10 plus years with other YouTube channels, and like doing, this ASMR actually has been pretty successful for me. And I've enjoyed it. But beyond that, like that's more of like it's great. And I can make some money from it, but at the same time, it's not, I was still like, no, but there's like meaningful income out there that what I didn't realize, and what I started this whole live with, is that gratitude, and not only just gratitude, but mindset in general, has to be at the forefront of what I would say like leveling up. And what does leveling up mean? Well, that means like you're in whatever you do, whatever your job is, if you're not happy with what you're doing, or if you're just ready for something different. Maybe you're like, you know what, this has been great, I've enjoyed it, but I'm just kind of ready to do something different. Maybe, personal growth is something that you're just like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to act like this anymore. Or I don't want to feel like this anymore. Or whatever it is. How do you get to the next thing? How do you get to the next level? Your mindset is first. Because if mentally, first of all, you don't believe that you can get there, how do you think you're going to get there? Like, if you don't have the belief, then it's not going to happen. And then you're going to try something and you'll be like, well, that doesn't work. I mean, I kind of see, when I do these lives or when I make a post or I post a video or I do whatever, and there's going to be people that challenge me, which, by the way, the people that challenge me, it'll be interesting. See, well, there was one that came on here that said something weird. That's how I know I'm going the right way, because it kind of causes a little bit of like why do you think that you can just be home making money? I had one person call me a not nice way of saying I was lazy because I said I can work less and make more. That was, to them, that was lazy, which, okay, cool. But like when they show up and say that, when someone shows up and says that to me, I have this different perspective now, because I'm like, I get it. This person that's saying that, their life just isn't going the way they really just thought it would, or maybe that they want it to, or they've been through something really difficult and they don't know how to deal with it, or, I feel for them in a different way. I mean, of course it's not nice, and I'm just kind of like, well, that's not nice. But beyond that, why are they saying that? Because I'm saying something that hits a nerve with them, because they're just like, no, just like the voices I had before I got into this, before I started trying to go left when everybody else was going right. And I would, and it was mostly in my own head, but of course it was outside voices, because whatever I believed, I was going to create that reality around me. Whatever I had in my head, I was going to automatically look for in my reality, in my world. So I heard the voices saying, you can't do that. Why do you think you can do that? Nobody cares what you have to say. People don't just make that kind of money from home, or you need to just go, do whatever, go work a 9 to 5. And it's like, if I want to, I can, but I don't have to. I can choose to do what I want to do. And you can be successful in whatever you want. It's a regular discussion with my kids that I tell them that literally the sky's the limit. I do not limit their thoughts at all. I want them to have thoughts of just infinite, anything you want to do. And I truly believe that. But it all starts, you can't get there if you don't know how to expand your mind and how to be able to open up enough to receive those opportunities. And when the opportunities cross your path for you to look at them and say, oh, well, that's everything I've been looking for. That's how it hit me. That's how this opportunity hit me and came into my life. I was looking for a way. Like I said earlier, I said, there's people making money online. How are they doing it? Why can't I figure it out? I'm doing all these other things, but I'm missing something. And I was trying to find all the free information out there to piece it all together, because again, I was like, well, at the time, I don't have money to just, buy that or invest in that. Like, it just felt way over my head. At the time, it was because my mindset wasn't ready to receive it. Have you guys ever seen the shows on TV that'll say, like, I don't know what the show is actually called, but it's like people that win the lottery and then they're broke, like, a year later, and you're just like, how did you win? How did you get all that money and you don't have any money left? Have you ever seen any of those shows? Because I know, because they weren't ready for it. And they received it, but like they didn't know, they weren't ready. They weren't prepared. And I know a lot of us are like, oh, I would take the chance. Bring it on. But truthfully, like mentally, if we're not ready to receive what we're asking for, there's not going to be that energetic like connection, because everything is energy. And money has a really high frequency. I should say frequency, energy, I don't know. But money has a high frequency. So if we go back to gratitude, I really am trying to like have a theme for my lives so I don't go in too many directions. But hi, I'm Katie and I have an ADD brain. So nice to meet you. I'm trying. But here's me. This is me. If I go back to gratitude and I say, okay, where was I when I first said that? See, this is what my brain does. Okay, money, I had to think. Money has a high frequency. So gratitude also does. But what I mean by when I say gratitude, like, no, actually being in that feeling of gratitude. And you, of course, can start it by like, if you heard the saying, like, fake it till you make it. You know, you have to start somewhere. So if you get up tomorrow morning, first of all, you always give yourself a high five. Just try it. Just like when everybody walks by the mirror, to, you know, when you're getting ready, whatever, just give yourself a high five. Because you're doing great. Whatever you're doing, however you're showing up, you're here. If you've gone through some rough patches or lived your life so far where you're just like, oh, I don't know, I'm just not where I want to be. It's okay. You're here. Give yourself a high five because you're doing the best you can do. So you give yourself a high five and then what are you grateful for? Like it could be as simple as saying, I'm so grateful for this mirror to be able to give myself a high five in the morning. Thank you so much. It could be as simple as that, but then expand on it, but actually live your days in gratitude. It could be so simple. It doesn't have to just sound like, you know, get a piece of paper and write down 10 things you're grateful for. I mean, you can do that too, like however it resonates with you, but it could be just the same as having it in your head, like waking up and just being like, for me, I just say, Lord, I am so thankful. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for this mirror. High five. Thank you so much for this hairbrush as I'm brushing my hair. It might sound silly, but as you start doing it and practicing with those little things, then when you get the big things that show up, when you get the unexpected $5,000 bill for something, or something in your house that breaks, or you all of a sudden you need a new roof, or whatever it is that seems like, oh, that you can feel the, just for a minute, but then transition into, okay, thank you, Lord, for this house, that I have a roof, even though the roof needs replaced, but thank you so much for the house that I'm able to have the roof on, that keeps my family safe, that, you know, whatever, however you want to say it in your head. But do you see how you can spin it to living your days in gratitude? And no, it doesn't mean that you wake up and you're like, la la la, and everything, you know, skipping in a field of daisies. Like, it might sound like that the way I'm saying it if you're not used to doing it. But I promise you, if you're not where you want to be, if you are wondering, if you have moments of thinking, you know, I pray, or I try to do the right things, I try to be positive, like I feel like I'm a good person, why is it just not working out for me? Why are there people that I would think they're like, how do I say it? They're living their life on the edge, and they're like, they have all this money, but they're doing it in a not good way. I don't know how to say it. They're doing it from things that could be illegal or what, but like, oh, they have all this money. Lord, why do they all have all that and I don't? Why are they able to have all those nice things, but I'm here with... When I say that now, because I've been practicing this for so long, it feels like, because I don't know anything about those people's lives on the inside. All I'm basing that on is how much money they have. And if I imagine, okay, and this can sound judgmental, but like, let's just go down this path. If I can imagine that person that has made all this money in a way that is dishonest and illegal and or whatever you want to put on it, that's just like, ugh, but they have all this money, would I choose that over being in a super amazing marriage with two super amazing kids, living in the house that we've wanted, in a place that we've wanted? Would I trade that to have that $1 million, let's just say? Would I trade it? And the answer is a very, very like, heck no, I would not. But that's what we do mentally, is we get in these like spots of, but why don't I have that much money? Why are they able to figure it out and I can't? Why do they have it but I don't? I try to live my life doing all the right things and, following the rules, and, I consider myself a really good person and all the things, right? And you're just like, but so then why can't I figure that out? Why isn't it happening for me? Because of all the things I just said. Because if that's what your thoughts are every day about what you don't have, you're going to get more of what you don't have. Because that's the energy that you're putting out. So if I'm putting out the energy of, and we're going to say it's like the energy of lack. Lack is like a really low frequency. Remember I said money is like, let's just say it's up here. The frequency is way up here. If I'm functioning from a place of, why don't I have XYZ every day, I'm never going to like connect to that frequency of money and abundance. If I wake up every morning in a state of gratitude, and I can pivot situations that are seemingly negative on the outside, and I can pivot them to a grateful thought or gratitude state, it starts going like this, because then I'm living my life more at the frequency, a higher frequency that has a chance to connect to the money frequency. It's a thing. And money is just like a byproduct of all the other things. Money is just something that's like a resource. And I'm very much, like, my faith has, and faith and religion are different for me. So my faith is super strong outside of the church. That can be a whole nother discussion, because that would be something I would like to chit chat about. But I forgot where I was going with that. It's my brain. I'll get back there. My faith is super strong, and I also know that things happen the way they happen for a reason. I also know that I am who I am for a reason. And so when I find myself in those moments wondering why I can't figure something out, or why I'm not good at something, because I'm just going to be honest, when I found this opportunity with this digital marketing program, it's taught me so much. I mean, way more than I ever imagined. But I struggled trying to figure out, again, here's me, like, trying to figure out how to do it correctly. How do I do this? And of course, we have all these amazing mentors, and we have, I don't even know how big our community is now, like 20,000 plus in our community. Of all these there's so many amazing people. And so, when you first start out and you're first trying to learn how to do something, you're going to like watch other people, like, well, what are they doing? And so I did that. And I was like, wow, they're just so good at what they do. They're just so good. And I'd get all like pumped. And then, I mean, you have to start somewhere, right? So, I mean, I just started hitting record and I started doing the things. But I struggled a little bit because I felt like, well, that's not really how I would say it. Or I don't have super ultra like high energy all the time. Or I don't know how to show up that way. Or sometimes I don't want to put on makeup. Or there was all these things that felt like, well, that's not really me. And a big part of this program teaches you how to be you. Like that is one of the messages. To figure out your voice, to figure out how you want to say. And so again, if I go back to this state of gratitude, it brings me back to how was I created? Because God didn't make a mistake. He doesn't make mistakes. If my voice doesn't sound like theirs, or if I'm not saying the same way they are, does that make it wrong? Or is that something I'm just super grateful for being me? You can see like back here, I have this little sticker. It says be you. That thought I started planting in my head and I started using it on my social media like 10 plus years ago when I started in social media. When I wanted to be on YouTube, or I was intentionally trying to do something that was so completely out of my comfort zone. Because even though I didn't know it at the time, I can look back and say, well, I didn't know exactly why, but now I understand that when you get out of your comfort zone, that's when the growth happens. Like, that's when you level up. Because if you stay comfortable, you're just going to stay where you're at. Like, if you do what you always do, you get what you always got. My dad says that all the time. He would always say that. And it just stuck in my head, but it's true. And it doesn't mean you have to level up. So this is for somebody that, I mean, I like to say it's for everyone because I like to cheer people on and just be like, yes, you can do it. You can do all those things that you thought maybe before you couldn't. But you can. Like, I want to be that person for people. So I say everybody, but I also understand that not everybody is ready for that. And it sounds like overwhelming and it sounds like, and I get it. I mean, I was that person. I mean, truthfully, for me, this stuff didn't happen. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. But you have to start somewhere. There's like a first for, everything. Like you have to, once you decide and you start going, Let's see. Is it going to stick? So I'm going to fill this whole thing up. Okay. But you have to start somewhere. And I had to be intentional to say, and I actually remember, can I just share with you guys? Like, I remember the exact moment. And I was sitting on the couch, and it was probably 3 years ago, maybe. I was sitting on the couch, and I had the thoughts of like, I am so sick of myself. I am sick of feeling this way. I am so sick of having this wah, poor me thing. Like the negative self-talk was just like at an all-time high. But that was such a pivotal moment because that was the moment for me where I was like, I'm not doing this like this anymore. It's not fulfilling. It's not filling my soul. I am the type of person that dreams big even with all that negative noise. I dream big and I feel like I gotta find my people. I gotta find people that understand what I'm saying and they want to dream big too. I knew that wasn't in my immediate circle. My husband is the exception because he's amazing. He is so open to my craziness and my quirkiness and my like running, when he's home and I'm like, oh, guess what? And I'll tell him about something and he'll go, what about the other thing that, 2 days ago, I know, but that was 2 days ago, but listen to this. And I get so excited and spontaneous about certain things. And he's great. But beyond that, I've always felt like the people that were in my kind of close inner circle, I don't know if you've heard this too, but like the people you surround yourself with, it's either going to elevate you or it's going to not. And I felt like, if I just say it, I just felt like people didn't understand. I couldn't just be me completely, because I felt like, oh my gosh, that will be weird for them. I felt, and I always say this because it's what I feel like, I wanted to go left, everybody else was going right. But then I would say, oh, but if I go left, then they're going to judge me, they're going to make fun of me. And my role was always the people pleaser. It was always the one that was, yeah, just don't cause any problems, don't make waves, don't have any confrontations, don't question things, just go with the flow, because there's other people that do that, so that's their role. Your role is to just kind of keep the peace. I didn't want that role anymore. That day when I was sitting on the couch and I just was so sick of myself, that was a moment where I'm like, no, that's not what I want. Like, I don't want to feel like that anymore. And so that was the day 3 years ago that I still remember. I just remember what that felt like. So this doesn't happen overnight, but it happens as soon as you say it's going to happen. You have to decide. It doesn't just fall in your lap. Like, you have to be intentional about it. But what I'm saying is, you can start it by living each day in gratitude. I'm so thankful for this hot glue gun that seems to be working in my plan, because how many have you tried DIY things that you're like, that didn't work out exactly how I thought it would? I've had many of those. This one is working out so far. So, yeah, that's kind of my thing for today. So if I wrap all this up and go back to sharing about this opportunity, because ultimately, I know how much it's changed my life in such a short time. And it's not just about money. I've had success, but it's not just like, that's not what I have the biggest focus on. Sorry, I can't spit it out because things are coming up on my screen. Okay. I know that the money is secondary to finding your zone, finding and like getting into the flow. And so when I say and I'll share my domain, so it's buildingwealthwithkatie.com. I always put it here just in case anybody wants to see, but it's also in my bio. Also, TikTok wants to shut down if I don't interact. Building Wealth with Katie. When I picked that, I was intentional because money is part of it. But when I think of wealth, I think wealth of money, health, relationships, love, joy, happiness, like wealth of all those things. You can say abundance, but like I wanted to say building wealth. I thought abundance actually was like it's already kind of long, but it made it longer. So buildingwealthwithkatie.com. So where does that take you? If you click on that, you can click on the link in my bio, or if you go there, you put your email in, I'll be able to send you information about what I'm doing and how I'm able to be home with my kids, have more time to do fun stuff like this, because I'm a DIYer. I like to do projects and things. I can send you information and you can reply to any of the emails and it'll go back to me and I will answer the emails if you have questions. because I didn't get into this just for me. I want to be the vehicle to share things with others that can help change their life too. That's what really sold me on this specific one, because I already know how much it's changed my life with the personal growth, because it's not just going to teach you the skills in digital marketing. It definitely does that. How to build on social media. You can even do it as a faceless brand. If you don't want to show up and show your face, like, you can still do this. But beyond that, it offers hope to others. Like, hey, you can do that. This is for anyone. You don't have to have experience. You don't have to be super techie. Everything's broken down step by step. I had no experience in digital marketing before I started this. I had zero clue. That's actually how I found it, because I had been trying to figure out, I'm like, how are people, like, I knew what a landing page was, and I knew, like an email list and all this stuff, but I didn't know how to make any of that work. And the things I found that showed for free, it's like they're only going to show you so much, but at the end of the day, you still have to have the system that makes it work, and that costs money too. So I could find the information to kind of tell me a little bit how it works, but at the end of the day, I still have to get on a platform of some kind to host my landing page. I got to pay for that to be, put up and designed, and I have to pay for all those things. Well, with this program, you get all that stuff for free, which again, I was like, what's the catch? Because if I were to do that all on my own, I'd be paying website fees and, landing page and the system to run the email list and all those things, like, cost money. Like, it just does. So this is education on how it works, wrapped up with an opportunity to turn around and share it with others and make 100% profit. And there's no catch. It's as simple as saying, if you want to learn how to do something, okay, people go to college, right? You take courses on how to do something. You pay for the classes. You don't just go for free. It's kind of the same idea. But they give you your first opportunity wrapped up in the education. It's kind of like that hands-on training. Because, you can also, if you already have a business, if you want to create your own product and you don't have one yet, a digital product, you can do that too. There's training on how to do all that. It's like whatever you want it to be, that's what it can be. It's education. But if there's people that are like, I don't want to create one. Well, this is already like something that's there. It's already a proven process. It's already, I said the community is like, I don't know, it's over 20,000 people. It's a program. It's an interactive program. So you can just promote that high demand product and you get 100% commission. There's no percentage that's going to anybody else. So again, that's how I found it, because I wanted to learn. And then again, if I tie this all back into the gratitude, I started living my days in gratitude and saying, I'm so thankful. So those typing jobs that I don't want to do anymore, but Lord, I'm so thankful that you provided those for me, because it did allow me to stay home, but I don't want to do it anymore because I make beans for the amount of work I do and for the expectation of perfection. I don't want to do it anymore, because if my fingers are not typing, I am not getting paid. I said I would pray for what I wanted. And so when this opportunity came across my screen, I was like, wait, that's everything I want. Why would I not do this? Sometimes, and I was the person that was skeptical, that was just like, my brain was trying to keep me safe and be like, I don't know about that, because it can't possibly be everything that you've ever looked for, because that just doesn't happen, right? That's thinking. Michelle in our community, she likes to say, and our mentor, she says, stinking thinking, creeping in, like, oh, don't do that because let's just stay safe where we're at. But I challenged it because I thought, no, I have been praying for an opportunity. I have been praying for that. I don't want to type anymore. I didn't want to sit and be in my basement all summer. I mean, today it's nice because it's so hot out. I didn't want that anymore. So why would I not look at something that's the exact thing that I'm saying that I want? I get it. It feels scary. It feels like, well, here's again these thoughts that creep in, like, people don't do that. Well, you're not going to make money doing that. Nobody's going to listen to you. No one's going to watch your videos. Nobody's going to join your lives. Who cares? Like, that's a scam. That's a pyramid. That's all those things. But I challenged it. I decided no, because what if it is legit? This could be the thing. It has been the thing. It's been the thing. And the biggest part of it that I was like, yes, was because not only does it bring in the meaningful income for me, but I'm able to be the vehicle to share it to other people and help change their life too. It's what I've always wanted. I didn't want to be a number anymore, typing medical reports or whatever else, which, by the way, I mean, that's a pretty important job. But I felt like I'm, employee number 85627 and doesn't have a name. Who cares if they're there or not? You're expendable. You're replaceable. That wasn't filling my soul, and I am the type of person that has always looked for something to fill my soul. I want to know what my purpose is. I don't want to question things anymore. I don't want to feel like, well, I'm not like them, so I can't do it. Well, why not? Because they're already filling the space of somebody with that personality. How about I just show up as me? Because I'm the only one that's me. You're the only one that's you. I get there's more to it than that. I understand, but that's why the faceless is amazing, because it took me a while to want to record myself too. Excuse me. I had a lot of convincing way back when, and I went for it, but it was very uncomfortable. Before that, I didn't even want to be in pictures. I'm like, or I would be the one trying to stand in the back, and I'm short, so guess where I always got put? Right up front. But that's okay, because that's just where I was. And I was supposed to be there. And now I'm here because now I know the difference. And now I can show up and share it with you. Anyway, that's what I've always wanted. I've always wanted something that wasn't just going to be meaningful for me. It was going to be meaningful that I could share it with other people. So here I am. Okay, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to finish doing it's not buttons, but I don't know what you call it, but it's in the ASMR world, it's a button board. It's going to be really heavy. I hope this is thick enough cork. Anyway, I'm going to finish this, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. I'm so excited because I'm going to start showing up. I'm challenging my own things about why I'm not showing up. I think this helps with my ADD-ness to start just showing you guys, just going live and whatever I'm doing. Because this is why I love it. I can do this whenever, wherever I have internet, and I'm a homebody. I'm always home. I like to be home. But I can kind of just go live and talk, and we can chit chat while I'm doing whatever. So, all right. Have a great day. If it's something that you just want to look at, go to www.buildingwealthwithkatie.com. My link is in the bio too. And maybe it's not for you, but what if it is? It could be completely life-changing for you too. All right. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.